What's going on, everybody? Today I have got 12 Beast Mode clone fragrances. We are headed full force into the fall, and many Beast Mode fragrances are going to be often that kind of a style. Maybe they've got some heavy woods or some powerful sweetness or some spice or some factor that really sticks to your skin and lasts forever. And so this one is, I think, 70% fall winter fragrances. I do have a couple freshies in here as well, but these are all clone fragrances, so they are inexpensive alternatives to a designer or niche fragrance that you're going to pay 4 or 5 times more for, or more in some cases. So we're going to go ahead and get into this list, but before we do, remember to subscribe if you haven't, and please give a beastly click to the like button if you like the video, and let's go ahead and get into this list. All right, here we go. First up, this one's a new pickup for me, but it's not a new fragrance. This is Paris Corner's Amir, When Soul Gets High. Not When Souls Get High, but this is a dupe of Kilian Back to Black. And this is a tobacco, honey, cherry, sort of a dark, powdery, sweet fragrance. And you can even look online where you will see people debating back and forth. Some people say it just smells like baby powder. And to me, most of the time, this DNA smells like baby powder. I'm talking about the Kilian, the original. But it's one of those things where from one season to the next, or from one person to the next, one person might smell it as baby powder. Another person says it's the most amazing tobacco, cherry, honey I've ever smelled. And even from one day to the next, it can just be different. It can be tricky. Last night I sprayed this on some paper, and after a few hours I went and smelled it, and I smelled cherry and tobacco and honey. So it is quite similar to the Kilian, but some people smell it as baby powder. But nevertheless, this is a 12-hour fragrance or more. Even after I washed it off, I was still smelling it for a few hours. Again, Amir, When Soul Gets High. All right, next up, this is one I recently mentioned in a video. It is awesome and it is powerful. This is Lattafa, brand new release, The Kingdom. And this is a dupe of JPG Lamal Elixir, and it's a really good one. I've done side by side. I've compared it to another dupe, and you're basically going to get this powerfully sweet minty vanilla in the opening with a little bit of lavender, and then you start to get this tobacco honey that is sort of the star of the fragrance that sets it apart from the other Lamal fragrances. And this is easily a 12-hour fragrance. I sprayed it on at 5:30 the night I got it, and when I woke up at like 6:30 the next morning, I could absolutely still smell it. And so this thing is very impressive and a really great alternative to the JPG. All right, next up. This is one that everyone has talked about now, but you know, to do a Beast Mode clone video, it would just be wrong not to include it. I'm talking about this one right here, Lattafa Atlas. This is a freshie, and it is an alternative to Orto Parisi Megamare. And this fragrance is not for everybody. This is a niche freshie. It is a powerfully musky, salty aquatic. It's got some tart fruitiness in the opening. There's some aromatics in the mid, but overpoweringly, you have a salty, musky fragrance. And there is something a little bit addictive about this one. It's the squeak. Just kidding. No, it's actually the fragrance. And after I wore this on and off for a week, I would randomly catch whiffs of it. Not really. I think it was one of those psychological things, but I would sort of catch something in the wind and I'd be like, oh man, I need to go home and wear Atlas, or I need to wear Atlas tomorrow. I could not wear this every day. It is a 12, 14 plus hour fragrance. It's something that I like because it's strange. Lattafa Atlas. All right, next up. Let's go with this one. This one's an oldie but a goodie. I think this has been out for at least 2 years. This one is an excellent, powerful alternative to BR540 Extrait. This is Haramain Amber Oud Ruby Edition. I love the ruby red glass on the back. but this thing is powerful. This is, again, another 12+ hour long-lasting fragrance. This projects like a monster. It's a room filler. This DNA, if it's done right, it always is. Keep in mind, this is the extrait, not the EDP, so it does have that almond accord. There's a little bit of like a burnt sugar kind of a deal going on, but it's excellent. Super high quality, super long-lasting Amber Oud Ruby Edition. Okay, next up, this one is one of Lattafa's dupes of Initio Paragon. This one is Al Neshama, Lattafa Al Neshama, and this is a plum oud fragrance. It is powerfully fruity. In the opening, there's a definite sort of oud saffron that is a touch reminiscent of another Initio fragrance, Oud for Greatness, but it's powerfully fruity, powerfully sweet, and it does have a discernible oud. I've heard some guys say this is too feminine for them. I don't really understand that unless you just don't like sweet fragrances, but great alternative to the original or Lattafa's Vintage Radio. I haven't smelled that one, but from what I've seen, both are great pickups if you want a Paragon clone. All right, next up. This is a fairly new pickup for me, and I am loving it. This one is a clone of Stronger With You Oud. This is Paris Corner's Pandora Scents line, Veteran Oud. And this stuff is just beautiful. It's ambery, vanillic. It's got a little bit of that chestnut that kind of pulls the Stronger With You line together, but it's also got the leather note from Stronger With You leather, and it has a very palatable, mass-pleasing oud. You know, an oud in something like you would find in Arabian's Tonka or the dupe that Pandora Scents did, Noir d'Arabie. So sort of a sweet, smooth, synthetic oud note with Stronger With You and a beautiful animalic leather note. Again, Veteran Oud. All right, next, another freshie. This one surprised me, and I didn't really love this one whenever I got it in. I had some other things that smelled like it, and I didn't really understand what all the hype is about. This one is an alternative to Louis Vuitton L'Immensity, and this is Jean Lo Immortal. And basically this one, or Immortelle, I guess. This one is a citrus aromatic fragrance. And it's got powerful citrus right off the top, and it's got aromatics and a bit of a green tinge. And there's something very similar to this DNA and Bulgari Tigar and the dupes of that. So they're not exactly the same, but they're in the same family. And this is easily an 8 to 10 hour fragrance. So for a citrus-based freshie, that's pretty impressive. This thing, you will have no problem making it through the day, and it's still going to be discernible at the end of an 8-hour workday. And this is, again, Jean Lo or Jean Lo Immortelle. Having a hard time with my words today. All right, next up, another beast mode fragrance. I love this fragrance. I like it more than the one that it is a clone of. This is Paris Corner Amir Wild and Tobacco. This is a Mancera Red Tobacco dupe, and it is a powerful, spicy, smoky, sweet tobacco fragrance, but it's also got a touch of oudiness in the opening. It's got some leather. It's got some cinnamon. It's got a powerful patchouli note. And so this is, if you've heard the fame of red tobacco, it's just this nuclear performing tobacco fragrance. And this one is quite close to the Mancera, but the opening, it's a little different. In the opening of this one, you've got this sort of sweet ash from Ginseng, related it to the smell of varnish on furniture. And if you've ever varnished furniture, at least what I remember from like the 80s whenever I was a little kid, this is what the opening reminds me of, but then it goes into that beautiful tobacco and spice. I think there's some vanilla and chocolate in here. It's a gorgeous, powerful, powerful fragrance. Again, Amir, Wild and Tobacco. All right, next up, we're going to go with this one right here, which is an alternative to a discontinued Mugler, Pure Havane. There's another one that's an oldie but a goodie. This is Rayon Traditions Insurrection 2 Wild. And so this one, camera's having a hard time focusing here. There we go. This one is a vanilla and chocolate tobacco cherry fragrance. And so it's got those gourmand notes and it has a powerful pipe tobacco. Think cherry pipe tobacco, a touch of smokiness like the pipe has been lit, with some vanilla and chocolate in there as well. It's powerful, it's sweet, it's long lasting. It will, whenever one of my kids wear this, they'll walk around the house and it'll smell like somebody's been smoking a chocolate vanilla cherry pipe. So again, this one is Insurrection 2 Wild. All right, next, this one I actually left out of my my Lattafa list I did a few weeks ago. I had like, I don't know, 35 Lattafas or something, somewhere in there. But this is one of the very best. This would have been in probably my top 3. This is Lattafa Camera. And it has a reputation for being a powerful beast mode, just wonderful fragrance, and it absolutely is. This is marshmallowy sweet. It's got a touch of booziness. It's got a good dose of cinnamon spiciness. There's some woodiness. This is, it's an angel share twist, and there's other fragrances that people have said it's actually a dupe of, but I mean, just look at the bottle. Do you think that Lattafa is telegraphing something to us? It is a basically squared bottle that is identical to the round bottle of Angel Share. It's a twist on Angel Share. There are dupes that are closer to Angel Share, which I do own, but this one's my favorite out of all of them, and it is so powerful. 14 hours after a shower, I'll wear it. The next morning I'll take a shower and I will still smell this on my skin into the following day. Lattafa Camera, worth every penny, and it's so cheap now, like 25 bucks, 30 bucks. Go to Amazon Prime and check it out. All right, next, this one is from Generic Perfumes. Several of you asked me to do a big list of generic perfumes, and I will. I think I've got about 15 of them now or something, but this one is another Kilian fragrance. This is Kilian's, their version of Kilian Smoking Hot, which is a fruity cinnamon tobacco fragrance. I'm actually wearing it on this arm today, and it's not exactly like Angel Share, but it's a similar kind of fragrance. It's powerfully fruity in the opening, and it mixes with this like burning hot cinnamon note, and then the fruitiness settles a little bit, and the cinnamon remains, and the tobacco starts to come out. So you can picture what this probably smells like, and you're probably not too far off from what it actually smells like. But I have just been continually impressed with Generic Perfumes. I have a code that I'll try to remember to leave in the description where you'll get big discounts. I don't make any money off of that, but you will get free shipping or 25% off. Again, this is Generic Perfumes Smoking Hot A+. And finally, another oldie but a goodie. So I've got about half new fragrances from the past year, some of them very new, and then about half that have been out for a year, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is one that's been out for a few years, but it's still so very good, and I still wear it. This is Lattafa's Badi Al Oud for Glory, and of course, it's an Oud for Greatness clone. It's one of the first oud dupes that really started to be hyped, and there's good reason. It's a textured, palatable oud saffron. I believe there's also some cardamom in here, maybe even a touch of incense. I haven't looked at the notes in probably a couple years, so I'm just going by what it smells like. But it's a spicy oud fragrance, textured synthetic oud, and it just smells great. It's a great introduction to oud and super cheap, probably 25 bucks on Amazon. You can find it other places as well. Badi Al Oud for Glory. And so that's been 12 Beast Mode clones. Let me know your top 3 in the comments, or let me know your thoughts on any of these. I am Justin. This is Sillage Scents. Remember to give the most beastly click to the like button that you can manage, and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you on the next video. Thanks.